So now we're going to start by creating an Xcode project.
Xcode. Xcode.
And I will use the new project command, which is Command-Shift-N.
Project delegates. Choose a template for your new project, :
So it asks you to choose a template.
Template chooser.
So inside
Cocoa application. Cocoa app game.
we're going to go to game. All right, you can vote space or vote shift space, whichever. I'll vote shift space.
Out of template chooser. Next.
And go to next.
Press next. Choose options for product name :
Now,
Unit team : product name :
so the name of the product, you can call it whatever you want. Okay.
Unit team :
The team is basically you're the developer, and it's tied to your account. Basically, once you create the project, so that when you try to upload it to iTunes, to the App Store, then you can be identified. Usually, it's a unique identifier that you have, and that happens upon creation of the developer account.
Index icon. Content selected. Or com.index icon. Content com.index icon. Product name. Swift. Language :
So the language is going to be in Swift.
SceneKit. Game technology :
So the game technology is going to be SceneKit. You can also use SpriteKit, but we'll get to that a bit later.
Integrate gameplay kit. Include unit tests. Unchecked. Include UI tests. Unchecked.
So unit tests and UI tests, you keep it as unchecked. Those are actually pretty good for debugging and preventing instead of mending your coding mistakes, but we won't care for this for now.
Cancel. Previous. Next.
Okay, next. And once you go to next, you'll just figure out what location you're going to save your project in. Now I've got one open, so let's go to that.
Source code insertion at beginning of text /.
So we'll just give a general overview of this game template.
Show project navigator.
So in the project navigator,
GameView.Swift. Swift source. App tutorial 2. Tutorial 2. Project. Tutorial 2. Group. AppDelegate.Swift. Swift source.
So the AppDelegate.Swift is basically a set of functions that you're going to use for certain cycles of your application. That means when it's loading, when it opens for the first time, when it's about to give away first responder, meaning that it's you're choosing a different application, you place this one into the background. So in these events, you can basically control your application to do various things. So for instance, if I want the game to be paused, then that's where I'll put my code. If I want to save some things, for the next time, then you can do that as well. But those are things which will be tackled in a later video.
GameView.Swift. Swift source.
So GameView is, just as in tutorial 1, if you followed it, is the actual box within which the scene or the world is going to be contained. That is a subclass of what is called NSView, which is a general abstract form of a window that is drawn for the interface.
GameViewController.Swift. Swift source.
The GameView controller is a subclass of view controller. So for those of you who don't know, Apple uses this pattern called the MVC pattern, so Model View Controller. Those are 3 separate, let's say, subcomponents of an application, which facilitates you communicating between each of the main parts. So M stands for model. That's where all of your data information goes. View is the interface, so the user interface itself, and controller is how that data is going to be presented onto the user interface. So in this case, this is a GameView controller.
R.SCNASSETS folder reference.
And art.snets is a folder located in the main bundle of the application. So the main bundle is whatever resources you may compile with the application and distribute it.
Ship.scn. SceneKit document. Ship.scn.
So here they have a model called ship.scn, which is kind of a template. We're not going to use
Show
this.
project navigator. Project.
What we can do is we can delete it. And the format of this is SCN, so it's a SceneKit scene. But this can be imported from any other 3D format. But we're not going to use this.
R.ship.scn. Ship.scn.
So
project navigator. Ship.scn. SceneKit.
I'm going to delete it.
Do you want to move? Ship.cancel. Move to trash.
I'll move it to the trash.
Row 6 expanded. Tutorial 2. Project. Row 6. GameViewController.Swift. R.scn. Texture.png. Portable network graphics image.
So the texture also, we won't need it.
Do you want to move? Can't. Move to trash. Row 2 expand. Tutorial 2. Row 6. Tutorial. Game view.swift. Assets.xcode folder.
Okay,
Main menu.xib. Interface builder XIB document.
is pretty much the library of icons, and app icons and things like that, which you're going to use bundled with the application. We're not going to look at this either.
Info.plist. Main menu.xib. Interface builder XIB document.
So main menu.xib is basically the user interface main container, which has the window, with the usual menu bar at the top. And this is a place where you're going to actually put your game view. But this is already done for free by the template, so we don't really need to look at it.
Info.plist. Property list.
Info.plist is a file which is used for various data holding for data persistence. So you can put in arrays and dictionaries with key value pairs. So key value pairs which would describe what kind of OS or platform this application works for. It would also give you some more information in regards to the bundle ID. That's for the App Store, and you can add your custom information inside. So it's small sets of data that you can use, for instance, whether the application has been loaded previously, and so you would put a boolean saying that true or false, and depending on that, the AppDelegate can actually change or switch the configuration of the application.
Products group.
Products, that's the folder where your application will exist once it's compiled. So what we're going to do now is the main component of this is the GameView controller.
Tutorial 2. Project. GameView.swift. GameViewController.swift. Swift source.
So again, Command J, enter to get into the editor.
Move focus to editor ellipses. Slash new line.
So as usual, for any file, you need to import the module for which classes and methods you're going to actually use. And in this case, there's going to be
import SceneKit.
SceneKit.
Import Chord Score.
And Chord Score is it's a graphics layer module, but we're not going to take care of this now.
New line. Class GameViewController : NSViewController left brace.
So it said class GameViewController, and the colon says that it's a subclass of NSViewController. Every time an object is created or a class is actually described, it belongs to some superclass. And the main superclass is NSObject, which is just an object itself, which conforms to several protocols. Protocols being interfaces for those of you who do Java. And those protocols pretty much tell the behavior of the class. So whether it can be placed into an array and found via index, or placed into a dictionary. So these are hash values. And these are lower level data structures which are used to manipulate the data that you have.
Space. Add IB outlet var GameView : GameView.
So add IB outlet view. So the game view is an outlet. So IB stands for interface builder, and this is usually a graphical way of connecting different objects to your views, to your window views, and how you're going to arrange them. And you can access configurations from within Xcode. You can programmatically create these objects, but in this case it's already done and the connection is made for free, so let's keep it at that.
Space. Override func awake from nib left parent by parent.
Okay, so now we have override func awake from nib. So the main storyboard, or the main menu, is a nib file, and it has an XIB extension. And what happens is that when the application loads, the AppDelegate engages the nib file to open, and then this function here.
Space. Override func awake from nib left parent by parent left brace.
What I'm going to do, I'm going to change the rate a bit. Let's see.
Image. Voice Alex compact. Rate 60% W window. Image.
I'm going to change it a bit. Yep.
Space. Override func awake from nib left parent by parent left brace.
Okay. Now,
image.
There's another control that you can use, which is pretty much to unfold the folders, and this is with Command Option.
Unfold.
Right arrow to unfold, left arrow to fold back. So code folding is pretty much useful when you have a lengthy amount of code within a function then at that point, if you fold it, then you can actually pass it quite quickly with your arrow keys.
Space. Override func awake from the left parent, right parent,
I've
left brace.
actually unfolded the function to see what's inside.
Super dot space. Super dot awake from the left parent, right parent.
So super dot awake from nib is that it calls the super classes awake from nib in order to start its configuration.
Space. / create a new scene.
Here, create a new scene.
Left scene equals scn scene. Left parent name : art.scnassets/ship.scen. Space. Left scene equals scn scene.
Okay,
left parent name : art.scnassets/ship.scen.
So in the first video, we said let scene equals scn scene, but without any arguments inside. If you remember, I deleted the ship.scn file. So this one by default actually loads up that file. What we're going to do is going to get rid of the arguments.
Exclaim. Right parent. Ship.r.scnassets quote space. So name : left parent. Selection deleted. Right exclaim.
And the exclaim is again the explicit guarantee that the ship.scn model does exist, but in this case we don't need it.
Space. / creates and add a camera to the scene.
So creates and add a camera to the scene.
Left camera node equals scn node left parent, right parent.
So the camera node, we call it scn node.
Camera node dot camera equals scn camera left parent, right parent.
So it will contain the camera, and that will pretty much be the listener node inside the world.
Scene.root node dot add child node camera node.
So the camera node has been added.
Space.
New
line.
As you wish. I'm going to quickly turn off voiceover and back on so that.
Voiceover off.
Okay.
Voiceover on X / place the camera.
Okay.
Camera node dot position equals scn vector 3 left parent X : 0 Y : 0 Z : 15 right parent.
So what happened here is that we placed the camera 15. So that's a positive, meaning it sticks out of the screen, just so that we can actually look at the origin of the world space, which is 0, 0, 0. But in this case, we put the camera at 15 for the z-axis.
Space / create and add a light to the scene.
So we don't really need the light, so I'll delete the section for this.
15 right parent / create and add light node equal light node dot scene dot root node dot add new line space. Selection deleted.
No need.
Space.
The cleanest, the better.
/ create and add an ambient light to the scene.
Again, an ambient light is not required,
space.
So we'll get rid of this.
/ ambient light scene dot root space. Selection deleted. Space. Camera node space / retrieve the ship node.
So the ship node again is not required, so we'll delete this.
/ ship equals scene dot root node dot child node recursively : true right parent space / animate the 3D object. By animation equals animation dot y : animation dot ship dot add new line / set the scene to the view. Select / new line. Selection deleted.
Okay, delete these because these are animations and extracting the ship from the scene's root node. So there's a way to call it up. You can call it up by name. You can call it up by various things. So for instance, you can iterate over scene's root nodes, child nodes, and so on. But we won't take care of that now.
Space / set the scene to the view.
So now we set the scene to the view just like we did in the first tutorial.
Self.gameViewBang.scene equals scene.
Okay, self.gameView. Now you heard bang because the game view is explicitly unwrapped. That means that we are guaranteeing that the game view exists, and therefore we need to mention that the exclamation mark so that it's explicit.
Space / allows the user to manipulate the camera.
Okay, so allows the user to manipulate the camera. So we set the game view to ally controls.
Self.gameViewBang.allows camera control equals true.
Space
/ show statistics such as FPS and timing information.
So frames per second and timing information is something that you can usually see graphically, but we won't need this part.
Self.game space selection deleted. Space self.space / configure the view.
So configure the view. Now this is again the game view. Give it some background color and so on and so forth. We won't need it as well. But if you want to keep it, you can, and you can just play around with some of the values. For instance,
self.gameViewBang.background color equals nscolor.black.
Okay, so here it says background color equals nscolor.black, but if I want to set it to something else,
black selection period.
I'll check what other colors they have.
Image nscolor alternate selected control text image nscolor black image left parent with image nscolor blue. Well, there's a whole bunch of other ones, but these are basic colors. You can also customize the colors with RGB values. Self.game selection / right brace new line. Okay, now the awake from nib is done. Right brace new line. And this is the end of the class.
this is where we're going to start this fun stuff. All right, now I'm just going to save this first.
Save.